Okay. Hey, Kwame, how are you?
I'm hanging in there, doing all right.
All right. Thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate that. As I was saying before we got on, I love your backgrounds. You've got all your books up, nice posters. Looks very cool. Tristan Strong Keeps Punching. That is your book series, correct?
That is correct. Final book in the trilogy.
And for anybody who doesn't know, a trilogy usually means three books, right?
That's important to clarify.
Well, it's funny because of all the authors I've had on when they do book series, which seems to be what the publishers like. I just interviewed Ann Charles. I don't know if you know who she is, but her book series is on its 12th book.
I talk with different people when they ask that question, and it's like, you never know when the right time to end the series is. As long as there are more questions about the world and about the characters in them, you could probably keep writing. It's only when you get exhausted with the questions that it's like, all right, maybe it's time to wrap it up.
But this particular trilogy, I mean, is there like trilogy one, trilogy two, trilogy three, or is it just these three books?
It's just these three books, and that's because, the central character, Tristan Strong, his transformation is completed within this book. We start off in book one, and, he's this kid who is unsure of himself, doesn't realize the power he has, doesn't like his name. And he really evolves over the course of these three books into where he is now, and that's really what the story is. The story is real. Is there more that we could do or talk about or ask in the world? Absolutely. But for Tristan, it was really about this transformation that he undergoes.
You know, the cover picture looks like there's a kid on YouTube named Damar something. He's Jamaican and he does all of these like running up and down flights of stairs. And have you seen him? I mean, he's got like hundreds of thousands of
I have
followers.
not, but you know what? I bet you my 10-year-old and my 13-year-old have.
Okay. But the picture looks just like him. He's probably like 14 or something, but he's got a huge following and it's all about empowerment and get your body in shape and fight and all of this kind of stuff. It's really good. It's very inspiring.
Sounds amazing. I'll have to look them up. It sounds amazing and also exhausting at the same time.
Yeah, it's not something I'd want to do, that's for sure.
I listen. I ran stairs when I played high school basketball. That was not the best time of my life.
I'll get you the name after the interview. You can take a look. So why don't you give us a little of your backstory? You said you played high school basketball, and then we'll tell us how you got started writing the book, and then we'll cover the book a little bit.
It's amazing to me when I think about where I am now and what I imagined I would be when I was growing up. I wanted to be a marine biologist, and then I realized that the oceans are absolutely terrifying, and that really curbed that impulse. But I wanted to be a scientist, and that's what I was. I was a scientist. I was a pharmaceutical metrologist. I would travel around and make sure that the people who make medicine, I made sure that their equipment worked right so that people could get the right dosage of medicines whenever they took it. And writing for me, it was a hobby. It was a passion. It's something that when I was in the fourth or fifth grade, I started doing because it was how I could communicate best, and it's how I could, work through complicated emotions. And so it wasn't really until what, maybe 5 years ago, where I figured out that I could do this writing thing and get paid for it, which is an amazing thing. It's like when you have this hobby you love, and then someone's like, "Hey, I will pay you to do the hobby you love," and it's just like this is flabbergasting. And so that's really where my origin story and Tristan is really the culmination of my childhood reading folk tales, especially African American and African folk tales and stories, and always wanting to tell a story that involved those same characters, like Anansi and John Henry. And so it's been a journey. It's been a really weird, circuitous journey for me to get here, but I'm happy that I'm here now and I'm having fun doing it.
Is this a fantasy type series?
Yeah, it's what we call contemporary fantasy, meaning, a lot of the story, it takes place in our world. Now we do go to a different realm where African mythology, West African gods, and African American folk heroes exist. But Tristan's a boy from Chicago. We start off book three in New Orleans, and so it's a fantasy, magic, and wonder and whimsy that happens in our world.
And the book is doing very well, yeah?
I like to think so. There's excitement. People are really vibing with the material and Tristan, and I love the emails and the DMs I get from young readers and parents of young readers who are like, this is what my kid picked out with his birthday money, or look who was the first one to check out this book we just got into the library. So I think it's finding the people that it needs to find.
Now, when did you start this series?
Tristan Strong Punches a Hole in the Sky, which is book one, came out October 15 of 2019. So almost 2 years ago.
All right, so not that long, yeah?
I'm a relative noob on the scene.
Well, according to your bio, you've received the Coretta Scott King Author Honor Award for that book. So that was pretty exciting, I'll bet.
It was amazing, and I grew up in a house where my parents really scoured the globe for books about characters that look like me and by authors that also look like me. And a lot of those books they found had that Coretta Scott King sticker on it. And so to have one of my books, my debut book, receive that honor, it's emotional thinking about it, that my book will exist on the same shelf as some of my favorite authors and some of my parents' favorite authors as well.
Now, have you gotten into merchandising yet for your book series?
No, I mean I do a mean doodle, and I send out stickers and stuff, but haven't really had any like Gum Baby dolls or any Tristan dolls pop up on the marketplace yet.
No Tristan dolls yet, eh? Okay. I see another book over there, or behind your left shoulder, Last Gate of the Emperor. You want to tell us a little about that one?
Yeah, so Last Gate of the Emperor is it's actually a middle grade sci-fi, kind of an Afrofuturism story that myself and Prince Yoel Makonnen, who is the great grandson of the last emperor of Ethiopia. We co-wrote this book together, published via Scholastic, and it's about a sci-fi about a world in which this ancient empire is suddenly returns, and our hero is the heir to it, and how everyone is suddenly interested in obtaining, sometimes via devious means, our main character and trying to convince him, quote unquote, of how he should help them out. So it's a fun space opera type of book that I really enjoyed writing. And again, if you know anything about me and my books, it's got a lot of African inspiration and iconography in there, and a really fun time. I think me and Yoel really had fun putting that book together.
Who is Rick Riordan?
Rick Riordan is probably one of my favorite authors, and author of the famous or infamous, depending on who you ask, Percy Jackson series, Percy Jackson the Lightning Thief, which was one of my favorite books when I think it came out while I was in high school. And so he and Disney teamed up to form the Rick Riordan Presents imprint, and that's who publishes the Tristan Strong series.
Oh, I see. Okay, so he's the publisher.
He is the publisher, author, personality extraordinaire.
Okay. All right. So what's in store for the future? You're going to be writing anything else?
I've got stories that are bubbling around, and the publishing industry is one of those where it's like, we got to keep our secrets and announce it at the right time. But just this past Friday, it was revealed, and we were able to share that the first book in the series, Tristan Strong Punches a Hole in the Sky, is being adapted into a graphic novel that will actually come out next August, which is fun. We get to re-explore that world and via beautiful pictures and artwork, and you can actually get a sneak peek of that right now on readriordan.com.
I guess the last question is, are you making a living doing this? That's an inspiration for other authors.
I am, and it's this isn't the norm. There are a lot of authors out there who do what I did when I was writing book one, which is they work full time, and then when they can carve time out of the day, after the kids are in bed or before everyone wakes up, that's when they do their writing. For me, I'm fortunate enough that because of some of the success of book one, I'm able to do this full time. That just means that now I have to balance chasing a toddler, who hovers outside my office, doing chores, and then doing writing. And so, we all have our little balancing acts we have to perform.
Well, I think that's fabulous because there are a lot of struggling artists, not just writers, but musicians and actors, and it's always very inspirational to hear stories about people who have actually started out and have done it and have been successful and make a living at it. Like you said at the beginning, when they want to pay you to do your hobby, it's a great thing.
It is an absolute blessing, and I think I'm incredibly fortunate to be where I am. And it's all thanks to the readers out there who really, really, really are vocal in their support of Tristan and the other books.
The Tristan book and the Last Gate of the Emperor. What is the age group? Is this like high school, junior high school?
We call it the middle grade audience, and that is really those readers, the technical is, 8 to 12 or 8 to 14 years old. I like to say 8 and up because I think everyone can find something really to enjoy in these books.
Well, we do have to wind this down. Do you have a website you want to give out?
Absolutely. You can find me at KwameMbalia.com, KwameMbalia.com. You can also find me too often on Twitter. I need to really dial that back, at KSEKOUM.
Okay, great. Well, Kwame, thanks so much for coming on the show. It was nice meeting you. Nice talking to you. Best of luck with your book series. It's doing great. I hope it keeps going.
Thank you so much for having me. Maybe we'll be back to talk